prepaid call from
Robb.
an inmate at Stafford Creek Correction Center. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future call, thank you.
Peace, everybody. This is Robb, back with the Robb Report. And Happy New Year to everybody. I know we've been off for a couple weeks, but it was just a time for reflection, a time to just get my mind right and for everybody else to get their minds right. And, we looking into a new year, 2022, and, they say this is the year of hope, So I want to get things started. First thing I want to do is I want to say that I think that things will be a little bit different the way we want to format things today. So I just ask anyone listening to just bear with me. Then obviously I want to give a shout out to my family in Detroit, my Block Boys out in Portland, my Raw Dogs out in Detroit and in Vancouver, Washington. So as we get started, I wanted to just say, I took a little heat from some people last time when we was doing a recording, and some people didn't like my message when I said that basically we don't believe in the defund the police message. So I wanted to just start real quick and say, first and foremost, that was something that I said. And so just if there's anybody that's out there that's listening, I want to just clear it up real quick and make sure that we understand each other, because we live in an ultra-sensitive world now where people might take you for saying something and then they'll think you're selling out or you're saying something you're not saying. So let me just be real clear with my position. And first off, I just don't believe that whole message is articulated correctly. And while I understand the meaning, I still disagree. But let me just say this. I do believe that there are some officer budgets that need to be reallocated for better training. I do believe there should be more community engagement. So, for example, I believe that, if you get some pillars in the community, you get with some of the officers, the chief of police, and you guys have monthly meetings, I think that there's different things that we can do without trying to strip them down. I don't believe there should be excess spending on military weapons. And, we've seen throughout history, like, with the Watts riots, the different things that happen in Detroit where they send these vehicles out there. And I just think that those are attacks on the community. So I would like to actually see a little bit less of that. And I think that overall there should just be a conversation on just budget allocation. And so last thing I would say on that, too, is that, my moms, I got family members, I got women in the family. And so I think that, like, if they wanted to actually call law enforcement, I think that they should have that availability. And I've heard of some of the homies dying lately where the officers can't even get there. By the time they get there, they're already dead, and that's what happens when you spread their budgets out. So I just wanted to just make sure that if anybody heard me or if you have an issue with it, I just have an opinion. And so that's just where my opinion's at, and it's just one of them things where, now when I turn on the news and I'm locked up and I just see a lot of smash and grabs and different things like that, and now it's just happening more often, but then the inflation goes up. So I just wanted to just clear that up and just be clear on my position. So if anyone had an issue with that, that's me. That's what I said. And I also said that, we will be willing to work with the law enforcement. And so people, if you take that the wrong way, my thing is just, if not filthy rags, then who? Because I just believe that if there's a problem, like, let's just say, for example, like when I was growing up, in the gang environment, there was issues where sometimes we would get picked up by the police and thrown in like blood neighborhoods and beat up. I don't watch my homeboys get beat up by these people. And then there's nobody to call. So, how do we report this? How do we get this stuff to stop happening in our community? So if you have a Filthy Rags outreach and you have people that are really connected in and talking to the chief of police and different people, then you have representation in the community. So, I just want to be clear on that. And also, when we look at like courts, for example, prosecutors, they're law enforcement. I don't want to see my brothers always getting stretched out. I don't want to see them where, they got the young ones getting declined on. So I want to be in a position where Filthy Rags can be in a position to talk to these prosecutors and say, hey, let's get these kids to us. Let's do diversion with us. Let's save lives. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't want nobody to get things twisted, but if not Filthy Rags, then who? Because I don't see it happening in the community. And we just have to take a different approach so that we can save our community. So I did say that, and I stand by that. So anyways, let's move on. December 27th, last time I talked to you guys, I was letting you guys know that we had a brother that passed away. So we had a brother that passed away, and here his name was Clifford Farrar. And so, our thoughts, our prayers goes out to their families, and so I just wanted to say that, like, since I've been locked up, we've had a lot of brothers that passed away up in here too. So while you guys is out there, these cats become like family to us and stuff. And and it just sucks because a lot of times we come to prison, we want to serve our time, but we want to also go home. But the reality is, a lot of brothers die in prison. Last year I had the COVID. I was stuck in the hole. Just pretty much left for dead. And I just was looking at those walls, and I was like, I don't want this to be it, and so we just want to send thoughts and prayers to that family out there. So yeah, as we move a little bit forward, I wanted to also introduce somebody that's working with Filthy Rags. We have a lady on board named Jessica Justice, and and I just want to say that things wouldn't work without her. So like even with the Robb report, she's the engineer, but I'm an old school type of guy, so I would like to think of her as like my DJ. You know what I'm saying? So Jessica, is you there?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, take a minute and introduce yourself to the people that don't know who you are.
Well, I mean, I'm Jessica Justice, like you said. I am the arms and feet out here for you guys, out here making stuff happen, basically. Doing the recordings, doing social media, website, just whatever needs happening. Finding the grants, all that stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, right on. Yeah, see, a lot of people don't realize, like, we're locked up, and it's like we need somebody that can accept our phone calls. Somebody, we got to have an outlet. Like, we can't just do this without somebody. And so Jessica stepped up, and she's been taking care of everything and trying to make sure our needs are met. And so like one of the things that we've been doing is we've been trying to secure different kind of fundings and different things. And recently, Jessica came up with an idea too that I thought was just phenomenal, where we want to also work with the women of domestic violence, because I think that's definitely something that happens out there in the gang culture with a lot of misogyny and a lot of stuff that just goes untold. So she comes up with a lot of ideas. I think, were we calling you the creative director here for a little while, Jessica?
No, I was the outreach coordinator. I think you were the creative director.
Oh, all right. Well, you are very creative. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just real quick, for the people out there, is there anything that you're lacking out there, or anything that you see that we need, or anything that you need to speak into existence while we got this time?
Well, I mean, if anybody is listening to this and, they want to know more about what we're doing, I encourage you to reach out. Call me anytime. The phone number listed on our website comes directly to me if you want to help out in any capacity, whether it's helping, make calls, make connections with people, looking for grants, administrative work. Eventually we're going to need a lot of people on board. And, once we get grants and funding, I don't want people coming around and saying, oh, now that you guys got money, we want to get paid. Show yourself now so we know that you're with us now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then also another thing too, last time I was on here, and I just can't stress it enough, we want to also have like a fair and balanced approach to things. So like we also understand that we have victims out there. We need to hear from victims too. We need to create a real restorative justice program where we have victims that can talk to us. We can go back and forth, and we can also hear the pain and the different things that have happened within the community. And so, like Jessica, you would definitely be a contact person for that. So just in case, put your email address or whatever out there right now over the air.
Well, you can contact me directly at jessica@filthyregsoutreach.org. Or you can go on our website, www.filthyregsoutreach.org. All of our contact information is up there. You can reach Alfonso, Charles, eventually Robb. I think we're getting you on the website today, probably. You can reach myself. You can find out information about the meetings, any events we have coming up. You can read our blogs, listen to the Robb Report podcast, anything that you want to know about Filthy Regs Outreach. And if there's more that you want to know, reach out to us.
Word. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so check it out, man. And like I said, I like to look at her as like my DJ, because there's a lot of stuff that we got going on, and she's the one that's behind the wheels, making this, driving this vehicle, right? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to take it to the streets a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So like what I want to do was just cold call a couple people out there in the streets and kind of catch them off guard. And just put them on the podcast and just kind of introduce the world to the streets a little bit. So if you could you call Ophelia for me, please? All right, call her on up. Let me know when she's on the phone, too. Yeah, Ophelia is very hard to reach. She's running the Noble Foundation for all you guys out there listening. Go ahead and hang her up. She ain't trying to be available right now. She's busy out in the community. Call Curtis up. Let's call Curtis. Yeah, she runs that Noble Foundation, so she's out there really trying to touch the streets and trying to make a difference out there. So she's really hard to get a hold of. But we're going to get her on the show soon. You know what I'm saying? What about Curtis? Can you call Curtis?
Hello?
Hello. May I speak to Curtis, please?
1 moment, please.
Hi. How you doing, Alice?
I'm good. Who's this?
This is Rob.
Oh, hi, Rob.
Hey. Yeah, I just wanted to catch up with Kurt real quick. Kurt's gonna be on my podcast. He don't know it though right now, so don't spoil it. Just tap him in real quick.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
What's up, brother, man?
Wait.
Kurt.
Just a minute. 1 moment. There we go.
All right.
Kurt.
Hey,
What's up, bro?
Yeah. And then what's that?
What you into?
Nothing. Just come down from Longview.
Okay. Well, check it out, man. I don't want to bust your bubble or nothing. I don't need you to push the panic button or nothing. But right now you're gonna be on the podcast show. You know what I'm saying? So what the viewers don't know is that Curtis just got out from doing what you do, Kurt, about 30 years.
30, 31, 32, almost 32.
Okay, 32 years, and you just been. How long you been free?
I got home December the 2nd last year, so about a year now.
Okay. Now tell everybody just so they don't know, how old are you?
68, 69.
Okay. And then also, I want to just go backwards a little bit. Kurt, when you was locked up, you started doing your time at Walla Walla?
No, I started my time in Monroe.
Okay.
I was at Monroe until a riot started, and they took all the group heads, and I happened to be one of the group heads at the back for the BPC, Black Prisoners Caucus. And then they took us to Walla Walla, and then I started working with the Black Prisoners Forum Unlimited and turned it into a non-profit organization.
Okay, so look, let's go backwards real quick. So you was back at Monroe, you started doing that Black Prisoners Caucus and all that stuff, right? So let's talk about that real quick. Let the people know what that was all about.
Well, Black Prisoners Caucus was formed because they would not let the blacks and the Hispanics and the APIs and Samoans or none of that. They wouldn't let us in none of the trades or none of the programs. So we got together with the mayor and we started the BPC, what we called Black Prisoners Caucus, is a short name. And what we started doing is we filed a lawsuit. For one, it was overcrowded. We filed another lawsuit about discrimination of not only the inmates and staff, because of the BPC, they have also hired more black staff and more Hispanics and more different varieties. Because in the past, it was a generation type thing to be a staff officer. So but we worked on that, and we set up juvenile awareness, which was part of the scared scrape that some of the brothers from San Quentin that sent us a packet on, and we got together, and then we got the University of Washington to start coming in and teach tutoring, math, and computers. Law students were coming in. The Black history students were coming in from the university, and we started also working with the law students, and it was a lot of things BPC created.
Right, and you was one of the founders, right?
Yeah, I was part of the beginning.
Okay. Hey, Kurt, I want to ask you another question because we got the people on here. So I want to go back in the past 4 minutes. You know, you were talking about like when you was at Walla Walla and all that stuff. And so we know Walla Walla used to be once upon a time one of the most violent prisons in the United States, right? And was you there back in the Blood Alley days?
Yeah.
Can you tell the people what Blood Alley was?
Blood Alley it was just the unit, but what it was everybody was it was always somebody getting killed there. It was 4 or 5 times a day. And Blood Alley was just it was a survival type thing, you know. It was, you could get killed at any minute. You never knew when a riot would jump off, and it didn't take much. I know they killed the brother because he threw some pancakes on another brother's tray, and it happened to be one of the guy's relatives or something. So they killed him for that, you know. So it was like in the movies, you know. Every day you could get killed, and you would see bodies and blood everywhere, and that's why it was always called Blood Alley, because it was so much blood, and it was always somebody at any given time getting stabbed or beaten head with pipes or bricks.
Right. Now listen, I read that book, Concrete Mama, right? And so like one of the things that I found that was unbelievable was it was talking about how they did a raid up in there one time, and they found handguns up in there, and I didn't believe that. So I went to somebody who was there. I went to Gus. I said, "Man, Gus, come on, man, that can't be real." And Gus said, "Nah, man, I was one of the ones that used to. We had guns up in there. Was it really like that?"
Yeah, they had guns. They had little pistols and little 38s and 45 little one shooters, and then they was making them own homemade guns. Yeah, they had guns.
Wow. So let me ask you this then, man. And could you speak to the people why there was like a necessity for because we don't have. Last time I talked to you up in here, you knew there wasn't no real unity up in the prisons, right? But could you talk about what the unity looked like back then?
Unity back then, it was. You had no choice. You had to be with your race, because when a riot jumped off, they normally attacked your race, you know. And if you weren't with them,
you have 60 seconds remaining.
It was just dangerous, you know. It's a riot at any given time, and it could just start at any minute.
Right. Yeah. And what I wanted to do, man, and just so you know, and if this phone hangs up, Kurt, I want you to stay on the phone because I'm gonna call right back in. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to paint a picture.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
of how prison was now and how it is then. So I'm gonna call back in, but while I call back in, Curtis, I want you to talk to the people about what the unity looks like now before you left the prison.
All right. As far as what I understand is, as far as unity, there was none when I left. It's starting to come, but it was everybody for themselves, and right now I think that us being who we are and being inside, I think the unity was starting to grow because everybody was kind of starting to realize that you get more out of things by working together. There was a time when the unity had came together and it was beneficial because everybody was starting to see, look, we're working together and we're accomplishing things. But right now, people are kind of like looking out for themselves the same way they do outside, out here, as me, myself, and I. As to me, it's sad to say, but there's more unity and respect inside than I've seen outside because the people out here, they don't care nothing about nothing. Nobody wants nothing. Nobody's trying to have nothing. Nobody's trying to accomplish anything. Everybody's just want to lay back and wait for Social Security and unemployment. And I don't understand what's going on in the society. It's sad.
Right. So let me get this straight, and I want the people out there to hear it because like one of the things that I'm really big on is I say like, and when you left, me and you talked on the Way Power one day, and we were talking about the disunity up in here, right? But you mean to tell me that even with all the disunity we got up in here, we got more than what they got out there?
Yeah, y'all got more unity in there. But sad than what's out here because people don't care nothing about nobody out here. And they sure don't care nothing about nobody in there because they're looking out me, myself, and I. That is all I see since I've been out here. There's no honor, there's no respect, there's no nothing. There's just nothing.
Wow.
I've been home here.
Amazing.
I've been home. This is what's so sad about. I've been home a year. I bought a home, car, and truck, and people were like, "Well, how are you accomplishing this?" Because I'm working, and you're waiting on a Social Security or unemployment check.
Right.
So
do you think that with us being locked up, and I think it's important though, but do you think with us being locked up that the time gives us a little bit better vision and a little bit more discipline than what we got out there? So it's easier to kind of get out and run circles around people because is that what I'm hearing you say?
what I'm saying is, if you go in, when you go in, you're probably confused and mixed up. But while you're in there, you have time to sit down and communicate with the right type of people, and your mind is back on track of what you need to do and how you need to accomplish things. People out here don't have that time. Everybody's running in circles and they're going back and forth and nobody's going nowhere.
Right. Okay. Well, let me switch it up a little bit. So since you've been out there in Vancouver, you've been out here pounding the pavement, you've been moving to different places like California, and you've been reaching back trying to help the prisoners and trying to help us sell drawings and different things like that. So talk about that for a sec. Talk about just you trying to stay connected and the dire need to try to stay connected to us and the work you're trying to do.
The work I'm trying to do, it's been kind of hard because it's hard to get the funding to help you guys, because I've left a lot of brothers and friends and men and women that I believe that are ready, that have gone through the madness, and they are ready to start a new life. But they're the programs that you hear about while you're in there is they're going to give you funding for housing, they're going to give you funding for clothing, they're going to be jobs and things once you get out there. That's just a bunch of drama. Uh, a lot of the companies and places that you'll go to for help are 5 out of 10 of them say they don't have the funding, or they never received the funding, or they're overwhelmed. So you can't get that help that you need to get. So my program that I'm called is Be Inside or Out. What we've been trying to do is set up housing and buying housing, and trying to put people, inmates, into those positions to manage these properties. And with the bead work, we call before and after bars, and it's selling the beadwork and the leather work and the woodwork and the paintings and the drawings that people are doing, any type of thing that jewelry boxes that the guys or girls are doing inside the institution, and we're helping them sell because there's no jobs inside the institution. So we're also trying to get the minimum wage jobs back. That was a key part to me being able to buy a home, is the fact that I had worked minimum wage during part of my time, so I had a chance to save funds. So my goal now is to try and get some of those companies back into the institutions. So we're trying to work with different companies and trying to get them back in there, so guys won't have to be worrying about trying to figure out where they're going to live. If they can start making funds while they're out inside, and then have funds when they come out, then they won't have to be worrying about being homeless. Because out here in society right now, everybody is 50% of the population is in a tent. That's where they're living. They're living under the bridges. They're living because nobody's, and they say it's drugs, but it's not all drugs. I mean, it's just hard to survive out here. And if you don't have the right type, like me, I've been out here, I've lost one job because of my previous record. So it's still hard, even though you've been out, but your past is going to follow. So it's kind of hard to get certain jobs. But me being the person I am, and the things that I did learn from being incarcerated, and before I was incarcerated, I've been able to survive and get by and work and have family that helped me to get where I am. But everybody else doesn't have family. So my goal is to be there and to help. We're trying to set up we're in Kelso, and we're trying to get somebody in the office. Miss Ophelia Noble has loaned us an office to work. So, and it's about 10, 15 minutes away from the institution. I mean, from the work release. So we're trying to put people that are coming out of work release, men and women, into that office to work with us to start looking for jobs to put back into the institution, to find housing and clothing, and the people that are coming out that do have that knowledge to run companies, we're trying to find the funding so we can give them funds so they can start their own business and don't have to worry about their past being a hindrance.
Right. Okay. I like that. So one thing that you just told me then basically is what you telling me is that whole ban the box thing don't work then.
No, all them books and pre-release, all that stuff, it's a bunch of garbage. You know, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I took flagging, I took forklift driving, I took all these little trades, upholstery, all that stuff it's necessarily not going to be good for you because that
Right.
don't necessarily mean you'll be able to get a job. And now they have the COVID out here, so it's even harder because you have to have certain shots. You have to do this and you have to do that. I'm telling you, y'all think it's rough in there. Don't even be crying about it because when you get ready to get out here, it's gonna get even harder because ain't nobody gonna feed you, ain't nobody gonna take care of you but yourself. Where you thought before your family wasn't there, they really ain't gonna be there when you get out here because out of sight, out of mind. So you got to start planning
Right.
what you want to do and how you want to do it, and don't be sitting in there waiting on nobody else to take care of you. You got to get ready for this.
Right. Okay. And listen, so check this out because a lot of times, and again, we gonna get this podcast popping, and so a lot of times people don't think that like we can make these transitions to the streets. But you got out, you've been meeting up with the commissioners, all these different people. Talk to the people about some of the people you've been connected with since you've been out.
I've been working with the city council. I've been working with the senator. I've been working with Jay Inslee. I've been working with the police activity in Vancouver. I'm working with the housing commissions. I'm doing some of everything. And I'm busy. And everything that I'm doing is for the brothers and the sisters that are in there because I know what I suffered through for my time. And I got a son that's on his way back there. And then I got friends that are family to me that are still in there that need my help. And that's what I'm doing. I'm make sure they ain't got to want for nothing when they get ready to come out and while they in there.
Okay, and then I want you to talk about real quick because we're going to run out of time here. And so, this is you the first one on my new segment. I think I'm going to call it Taking It to the Streets. You know what I'm saying? So you the first one up, but I want you to tell these guys about what you've been doing with them kids out there. Didn't you do some stuff where you got some people to get you some, like a music studio type thing to help the kids with their little performing arts type stuff?
That's right. Yeah, we started about that life with a youngster that he went in as a juvenile. He came out, his name is Muggs. He's a little API kid. We started a music label for him, and we've been putting on shows and benefits at, we got a space at St. John's Market, and there we've been putting on concerts and shows and also doing fundraisers, and we've been trying to contact with E40 and Snoop Dogg and a few other people and trying to just grow. And we're doing everything in our power to make sure that the guys or girls that is coming out, we are trying to have an outlet for them if that's the route they want to go.
And then, man, that's dope, man. That's actually dope. And I think what the people need to really realize is that, when a cat comes out of prison focused, man, he can really do whatever it is that he wants to do. Because one of the things I was telling these cats about you is, like, a lot of people don't know about Vancouver, but you got out and you end up buying a house out in Fisher's Landing. And so it's like, man, that's like, bro, like, that's kind of unheard of, right? And so, like, real quick, man, like, what kind of stuff did you have to do to be able to even transition into a decent neighborhood like that?
Okay, well, for one, that's another thing that I forgot to mention too. I've been working with the Clemency Project and there's about 20, 30 brothers that have all been successful. And the lowest number of time one of them's done is 10 to 57 years. And we've all been looking out for each other. One of the brothers helped me get a car. He's a manager at the car lot. And then as far as the buying the homes and stuff like that, they got the first home buyers. And that's what we went through. and all you have to do is been on the job a year and have your credit up. So the wife helped me get my credit card started before I got home, and once I got home, my credit was better than hers.
Hey man, listen, you just hit on something tough too, man. Because one of the things that we haven't learned here in the prison yet is how to get our credit fixed. You know, because now they put all these barriers up where you can't even get these bank accounts and different things like that, right? And it just feels like everything plays against us to set us backwards. So I'm putting that out there in the air while we on the podcast too, just in case there's any kind of bankers or anybody out there that can reach backwards and teach us how we can get ourselves built up in here to where we can come out and we can have some decent credit, because obviously that's pretty important, right?
Right. Man, that's a priority. And once you got the little credit cards, you can do a whole lot. You know, you go buy whatever you want to buy. It's great to me to have a little credit card and say, well, hey, I can put my little paycheck in the bank and then go buy what I want to buy and charge it. The wife is teaching, you know. She calls it the shot, but what's happening is I'm learning as I go. You know, everything is still a learning process. I've been out here a year, and it still feels like sometimes I'm not out here. So don't think just because you walk out here, it's just everything's just going to fall in place and everything's going to be great.
Right.
And okie, it's not. You're going to have to work for it.
Right.
But
hey, Kurt, hey, I got an idea real quick, man. I don't know if you up to it, but can we talk to Alice real quick too?
Alice.
I just want to ask her one question. I want to put her on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's her and her friend, they doing remodeling to the house.
Okay. Hey man, that's something else. I wanted to ask her one question, but if she come through, we'll ask her. But that was another thing, man. You was always talking about doing that modeling and stuff when you was up in here.
Yeah. You got Alice now.
Still gonna be...
Hello?
Hey, Alice. I just want to just say real quick, first off, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Okay, so listen, you on my first episode of Taking It to the Streets. We doing a podcast right now, so I just want to ask you one question. I'm not trying to catch you off guard or nothing like that. So my show, we talk about prison life and everything, and so you married Curtis, and you was able to come up and visit him in the prisons and all these different things, and you guys have had a nice, outstanding relationship. But I just wanted you to just tell the viewers, what's it like to have to get up and just be coming up and visiting and that type of stuff, the preparations and the different things that you had to go through. If you could just say what that looked like, you know, coming through the gates and all these different things, maybe getting harassed sometimes, whatever. Could you just put that out there real quick, what that looked like?
Yeah, so when I first started coming up to Walla Walla, I felt like I had done the crime. I was really picked apart about what I wore, and I've always been very appropriate, not, you know, trying to be too revealing or anything. I understand the rules, but I always felt like I was kind of picked apart. Like I was the one that committed the crime, you know. And then as we moved to Airway Heights and things, things got a little bit better. My biggest thing was my husband didn't really act like he trusted me. Like, so it was like if I didn't answer the phone on time or if I didn't say the right things, then something was going on that was bad. I spent a lot of visiting. I spent a lot of my time visiting. I traveled 5.5 hours to Walla Walla. I traveled 4.5 hours to Airway Heights. I did a lot of traveling to visit. And, you know, some places they were like on top of you, like, don't, like I had touched his arm one time in Walla Walla and the guard came over and said, you can't touch his arm. But it was just really hard. It really hard. And now that he's home, he can see that, things are not like he thought they were.
Right. And so, listen, my time is about to be up. And so what I want to do is just say thank you. You guys are the first ones on our show taking it to the streets. And what I want to do is I want Curtis to get on there and just close.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
And just give his information if anybody wants to get a hold of him as well, But thank you again for your time, Alice. I appreciate your honesty, and thank you for being a part of the show. And just for anybody that's listening out there, I thank you guys for listening to us too. Curtis, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so look, I'm about to get off because my time is up. But say bye to the audience out there and give you information. If there's anything else you need them to know, say it at this time, man. And I love you, man, and we'll be in touch.
All right. I love you all, too. Curtis Rogers, 971-331-3353. You can email me at curtisrogers217gmail.com. Y'all have a great day. And much love to all of you guys. And I can always use some help.